plant the seed is not the day that you bear the fruit. I come from an entrepreneurial world where my family ran and operated two shoe businesses in Harlem. And I work in media, and nobody in my family worked in media. And so I watched other people whose mom or dad may have worked in television get ahead. And I feel like that's important because, like you, I invested a lot into myself and invested into a lot of people, but didn't really see a return on my investment till about 2018. And I finished grad school in 2011. So for 7 years, I was investing and planting those seeds. And I feel like it's not always just monetarily what you gain, it's also what you impart to the next generation, which you may not see that seed being planted or bearing fruit until years later. And so I don't equate success to just money, although you have to spend money to make money. I think the investing part, but also the making money part, it takes about 10 to 15 years. They say it takes 10 years to build a successful business, but I will also encourage people who are in this room. We talked about a book that really changed my perspective on a lot was a book called Outliers, where they say that if you invest 10,000 hours, you become an expert in your field. And the people who are successful most are the people who aren't concerned about the money, because the money's going to come. It's about the time invested so that it makes it easier for you. And whatever that road is, I think that's significant.
Thank you very much to our panelists. We're going to jump in real quick. Speaking of investing and planting seeds in the next generation, we have a group of entrepreneurs who's going to pitch to you all today. And can we have them come up here for a second? Just so everybody can see who
Y'all give it up for them. Give it up for them. Clap it up. It's never easy to come in front of people. All right. Just one? Yeah. It's just one, right? Oh.
Keep going.
Okay. What is your name? Amarillo. You know what? I'm going to let you do that, girl, because I ain't going to butcher your name today. Y'all give it up for this beautiful young lady.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amaryllis Green. I am currently 15 years old, and I do a lot of things. I have a lot of different entrepreneurial ideas. I model, I act, I do poetry. I getting back into dance, and I sing. But what I really love is fashion, and that's what I'm here to pitch to you guys today. So I currently have a brand called Amaryllis' Motivational Closet, and the reason why I created it is because I love feeling nice when I walk outside. You know, you look in your closet and you're looking inside and you're like, okay, what do I have here that can make me feel great? When you're putting on a great outfit and you walk outside, you know, I look nice, I feel great, and that's what I would love to do with my clothes. So I started my brand. I would buy t-shirts, I would buy spray paint, and I would buy stencils, and I handmade all my shirts. And I would put motivational words on it. And I'm ready to branch out into dresses and suits. So I'm here to ask for money to buy fabric, supplies, and a sewing machine. And And I have done technical training. I do know how to use a sewing machine. I have created stuff by hand. When the pandemic came, I created a business selling masks, and I was selling bookmarks. So I was hand sewing, and I was hand making bookmarks and masks, and I was selling them, or I would give them away sometimes for people who really needed it. And I'm ready to actually pursue my passion, which is creating clothes that make people feel great. Because when I put this outfit on today, I felt great walking in here. I felt great. So, thank you. So, and I want...
One more time. Yeah.
I'm trying to get my grandson to come today for the college, and I wasn't going to stay for all of them after you. But I think so could you do a video? And I asked one for my older daughter. You ain't get older than my grandson, that's my videotape, so I can show him.
Personal presentation. Personal presentation.
All right, panelists, can you, as we're going with the competition, can we have you guys ask her some short questions about her?
Yeah.
Her.
I have a couple questions
Yes.
for you, sis. First of all, congratulations and salute to you.
Thank you.
And I think the outfit is pretty dope, but I love to hear.
Thank you.
I have a question. We talking business, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk shop. How many T-shirts did you sell when you was doing the stencil work?
When I was doing the stencil work, I sold about 50 shirts in the year.
And how much was those shirts retailing for?
I sold the shirts for $20 each.
All right, and what did you do with the money?
With the money, I invested it back into supplies. So whenever I got money, it went right back into supplies, and I saved a piece of it because I was saving towards the sewing machine at the time. But then school happened, and I started taking my advanced classes, so I had to take a break from the shirts, but I'm ready to get back into it.
All right, last question. Before you go into the suits and dresses, do you feel you have accomplished everything you needed to with the T-shirts?
If she sold them all. Okay, so with the shirts, I did the shirts because I wanted to start the brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started off with something small because at the time I didn't have sewing machine expertise. So it wouldn't make sense for me to start promoting dresses and suits when I didn't have the expertise at the time. So then I turned to T-shirts because I know I can create. I just need a canvas, and my canvas at the time were T-shirts. I'm ready to change that canvas.
Okay.
I have a question. So it seems like your sales strategy is more direct to consumer. Do you have a system set up? How do you receive and send your orders?
Okay, so with that, I do have some options. I did start planning and looking at websites, but currently at the time, since websites do take money, and at the time, if I'm not getting profit, I'm putting out, and that wouldn't make any sense. So I will be doing orders just here in New York. So at the time, until I can create profit off of it, I can't put out money for websites and stuff, not knowing if I'm going to make the money back.
Do you think it would be a sounder sales strategy to, instead of diversify into two other categories, perfect your sales and distribution and simplify, and so that you can make the most money off of that one category? Because I can definitely help you do that.
Well, I know I don't know everything, so I would love if you're offering mentorship. I would definitely accept it. Definitely. Thank you.
We got our very own NAN sharks.
All right, we are going to bring up our second contestant. We're going to do it the same, so they're going to do their pitch, and the questions will be from the panelists, because they're the ones that decide and judge. Thank you, guys.
Hello. My name is Jalen. I own a small business. Okay. I'm Jalen. Y'all can call me Jay. I own a small business for photography and videography. My business name is Harlem Exposure. I'm from Harlem, New York. And I basically want to represent my community by creating beautiful visuals for the people in my community. I started this because, honestly, photography has just always been my passion. My great-grandfather he introduced me to National Action Network when I was 9 years old. And during that time, he introduced me to videography. And I learned a little bit about videography at that time. I went my separate way to grow up and went through high school and all of that stuff. And later came back 2025 to continue to pursue my photography and my videography. My great-grandfather, he bought me my first camera last year in college. And I just did something with it. I went outside campus full of beautiful people around my age, and I just started taking pictures. And through time, I found my flow, I found my technique, and I've grown as a photographer and as a person, only 19 years old, and I progressed a lot. Later on in life, during that summer of 2025, I joined Supreme Creative Agency. Yeah. And I can say that is honestly has been the biggest blessing of my life in pursuing my career. I've progressed so much with the team that I'm working with now. Shout out to JT. That man is a genius. He's a genius. And he's really helped me to not only grow in photography, but also has helped me grow into becoming a better person, into becoming supreme. So I really appreciate all of the people that I have around me, my family, my friends, and even you guys in this room for just listening to me. So thank you for this opportunity. And shout out to my great-grandparents sitting right here, Winston and Beverly Gilchrist.
A couple quick questions for you.
Wait a minute, let me add something. She shouted out Mr. Gilchrist and Ms. Beverly. Mr. Gilchrist, stand up. Mr. Gilchrist has been with NAN almost 30 years as a videographer. And before there was social media, there was those tapes. And anybody that knows about when you record stuff and you had to get the CD printed, this man still does that. And Mr. Gilchrist is 80, how old are you? 85 years young. And so when Jalen was speaking about him, that is the lineage that Rev teaches us about, and she is in the lineage of her great-grandfather, and we're so glad, yes, Lord, and we're so glad that he's still with us at 85 and still doing what he's doing. So give Mr. Gilchrist one more big hand.
One of the pillars of BMAC, our organization, is to invest into the next generation of creatives. So I told Ashley that BMAC wanted to match the grant that NAN is putting up for the winner.
Let's give that a round of applause. Let's give that a round of applause.
And I want to be absolutely clear, because I might have missed it. Is the business, the videography, what exactly is the business that you are building?
So the business I'm building exactly is a production company that can change, and that can change people's lives, bring people's dreams to life. I want to create a video, a picture, whatever. I want it to be out there for people to look at and say, wow, this is not just a picture, it's actually a moment that was captured. So my point of building this business that I have, this small business, is to basically break a generational curse into creating something that has never been seen before, never has been touched or even thought about before. So that is my purpose of being a videographer and being a photographer and just owning a production company that people can rely on and basically bring their dreams to life, because everything is caught on camera these days.
Got you. Another question. Have you received any independent work outside of the work you do with the current company you with? Do you freelance? Do people pay you now to take pictures and do videography? If so, what do you charge?
Yes, people do book me for videography and photography outside of Supreme Creative Agency, and I charge a pretty reasonable price. So
What's
hourly,
reasonable?
my hourly charge would be $60 for events.
And that's per hour? And that's flat fee, or that's per hour?
Per hour.
And what do you do with the money when you receive it? How do you reinvest it, or do you reinvest it? What happens when you get that check?
So what usually happens when I get a good amount of money from my booking. Most of it gets saved. I do a lot of spending, yes, I'm young, but most of it does get saved because I do plan on investing a lot into my production, my company. So I don't want to just be at stage one and like, yes, I could be a good photographer and make good money from it, but I want to gain value from it as well.
So there's a war chest now. You have a war chest. You have funds saved now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
We got 10 more seconds with this contestant. We have 2 more right here.
Do you have a website and a social media account as well?
I have a social media account. I did have a website, but it needs adjusting. So right now I just have a platform on Instagram.
All you need is a splash page, even if you don't have, you can get a website, and even if it's not updated, splash page and a place where people can contact you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I am Devon Lewis, a senior business administration major with a concentration in management and a minor in leadership studies from Washington, D.C., currently attending Morehouse College. I also serve as a re-charter member as well as the senior advisor to the National Action Network AUC chapter, and I'm also the lovely Ashley Sharpton assistant. So I'm here for the week. My business is actually not a business. I know that sounds crazy. It's actually a nonprofit. My passion is to develop black boys to become black men, as well as black leaders. We unfortunately, we are not empowered enough. Unfortunately, we are not taught enough while we're kids. We don't have a lot of community no more. We're not sending our kids to grandma house no more. That's the problem. And I want to bring back grandma house. And so I founded a nonprofit called 100 Black Boys because I'm a member of the Collegiate 100, which is a product of 100 Black Men. And so I started 100 Black Boys to create that grandma's house. We got to keep teaching our black boys you can be a black man. Just because you're in the struggle doesn't mean you got to stay there. And that's what I want to bring us out of. And so that's my product. It's not big. It's not much. I do a lot. I started the nonprofit at a elementary school, in Atlanta when I got there. And now we're 4 years strong, a member product of Collegiate 100. And they're called 100 Black Boys with 5th graders. I have 8 of them that are my babies. So I love all my babies. Any questions?
So I guess the question is, we have your why, and we got a lot of why, but another question is, what's the ask? What are you asking for, and what are you going to do with that? You're asking the money for? Resources.
Even though I'm in Atlanta, I do have a lot of resources. I don't have all of them. And I can never have too many, right? I'm doing everything by myself right now, and it's hard. I'm in school. I'm trying to graduate. I'm a senior. It's hard. But I take time away from school to pour into them. I take time away. I need somebody else. I need things. I need help. And I'm by myself.
So when you talk about research, I need a deep dive a little bit more into that. What does that mean exactly? And you're saying you need help. Did you enlist volunteers?
Yes.
So what is the resources?
So the resources I need is financial resource because it's expensive. I'm a college student. It's expensive.
Like what?
Every Saturday I try to take them from their parents, give their parents a break, but also y'all don't need to be in the streets doing this team takeover. So y'all are coming with me. We're going to go to a bowling alley. We're going to the movies. We're going to grandma's house. Like I said, grandma used to take us out to the bowling alley. Grandma used to take us out to the movies to make sure we wasn't in trouble. So we're doing that. And that's expensive because I'm not charging the parents nothing. I got to work hard to make sure I get the money to pay for that.
Right on. I want to deep dive because I want to give you a hard lesson of what I learned. Like I told you, I've failed more than you, trust me.
Right.
And that structure is what got me in the right direction. When you're doing a nonprofit and foundation, you can put line items, right? So money for entertainment, line item for food, right? So if I'm giving you $500, you're getting $300 for entertainment, $200 for food, I don't know, $20 for transportation. So you could break it down. So when you say resources, that goes upon deaf ears when you're dealing with funders. They want to know exactly where that money's going.
Yeah, so I could explain a little bit to that. Key example, before I came to this trip, to the convention, I took my kids out. And I spent $500 that day. Like you say, you gave me $500. $326.94 went to food, The rest went to transportation and just like taking care of them. Like if they wanted something, you got it, we get it.
But that taking care of them has to be defined when you're dealing with foundations. So there's no overarching words. It is very to the point.
Gotcha.
Can I
Appreciate that.
So, are you a 501c3?
Not yet. I
Okay.
work with a 501c3. What is this? Black. What is this? Black Youth Empowerment Network. I'm sorry, BYEN.
Free game. Learn what they do, implement it into what you do. Before you lead, you got to learn how to lead. And if you're learning what they're doing, and if you're volunteering your time, they can easily show you how to file your paperwork for a 501c3 so that you can create your own. And once you do, your local, your community, your business, grocery stores, restaurants, sports teams, clothing stores, when they see that you are credentialed in that way, will easily donate money because those are write-offs.
So you don't have to pay for the food.
So you don't
when
have
take them out
right.
and stuff like that.
So like you pull up to a TGI Fridays, it's covered.
I'm in business, so I understand. Yeah,
Right.
I get you.
I just want to say this here. I'll be more than happy.
Last thing on this. Thank you.
I'll be more than happy to mentor you. I'll be more than happy to mentor you because a lot of people don't understand because I agree with you, but I don't. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I used to drive me crazy when people tell me do what they're doing. No, I started mine because I had my own vision, right on. Because I was giving out suits. I got to be dressed for success now. That's what everybody used to call me under. No, you can't square a circle in a square box. Right on. I have my own vision. I have my own passion. I have my own why. And make sure you don't negate from your why with what you're doing. I love you though, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But I actually agree with you. I actually think you take what they do and make it your own. I think we're in the middle there.
Thank you very much. We love the conversation. We can continue it on, but we have our next contestant coming up.
I understand what you're saying. Respect. I understand what you're saying.
Hello, how are we doing today, guys?
How you?
Peace, brother. Peace.
Good afternoon. Good morning. My name is LaSalle Morrison. I'm a recent graduate from New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Hey.
Thank you. And I graduated with a bachelor's in computer science. So, I ideally want to start a startup software app development business, and mostly as a focus, I would like to present one of the app ideas I have currently. So just as a show of hands, if anyone can tell me, who here has heard you need multiple sources of income, or you should get multiple sources of income? I guess a good portion of us, right? And as we continue to go down, as we've seen as of recently, more and more people are starting to feel like we need those incomes to just sustain daily life. If you just look at the price of gas currently, we can see that things are getting more expensive, right? And so people have started to do these side hustles to make the extra flow of income that they for themselves, right? Some of these apps are like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacarts, right? Me being out of college, currently still waiting for my full-time opportunity. If anyone's looking for a software engineer, I am still here available. I started to delve into some of these apps. I started using Instacart, I started using DoorDash, and as I was using these apps, one day I was supposed to meet up with a friend around 3 o'clock. It's let's say about 2 o'clock now. It was going to take me 30 minutes to get to the spot I need to get to, and I realized that if I was to try to do like a delivery, because I was doing deliveries before this, to make just a little extra cash before then, I would probably be late to me meeting up. And so then I thought, well, I wish I could know for sure that the delivery I'm going to do is on my way to the destination I'm going to, so I wasn't cutting into the time. Because I'm going to end up sitting there for 20 to 25 minutes doing nothing, 20 to 25 minutes doing nothing, when I could have been doing something else, right? Or I could use the time more efficiently. And so that came up with the idea, what if I was able to come up with an app that tells you exactly when an order is on your way, right? And that's where my app idea comes from, and my app name, On My Way. Essentially, it'd be an app, let's say you're doing your DoorDash delivery driver, it'd be an app that when the DoorDash app sends you a notification about an order, you'd have On My Way open, and On My Way would be like a kind of like a pseudo Google Maps. It would tell you how far off your destination, like how far off your destination is from where where this order is. So let's say you're going to work, you have about 30 minutes to get to your destination. It says, hey, this order that you could pick up is 5 minutes off. It adds 5 minutes to your total route. Now you know for sure that if you were to take this order on your way, you'd only spend the extra 5 minutes versus you having to like hopefully take an order, see like where it is, break it down. You could do this on your way while you're already driving. So that's the idea that I had come to my mind. And it also solves a problem that DoorDash or Instacart has. I don't know if anyone here has done Instacart before, but in situations where, like, especially packed days, there are a lot of times where there are a whole bunch of orders that are never taken because it simply doesn't make sense financially. If you have to drive 6 miles and you're only getting paid $5 for the order, you're gonna lose out on the gas already, right? So if that delivery, though, was on your way to something else, now you're no longer losing out because you were already going to drive that path already, right? So you're only gaining here potentially, right? That is my idea. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
All right, panel. So we are hitting time, but I want to be mindful. So everybody on the panel can ask one question, and then we have about 30 to 45 seconds to respond. So let's see how quick you can handle this.
Okay, I'll
for
try my
your
best.
answers, boss man.
So the app, you developed the app, and the
Don't have
app is
time for audience
primarily
questions.
for the individual that works for Instacart or DoorDash, for them to be able to gauge whether or not they have the time to add additional orders to their route already?
So I think it primarily focuses on people who already do have the DoorDash app and Uber Eats app. But ideally, people who do DoorDash and stuff, they already set time. Sometimes set time aside to do sessions, right? But what my app is focused on is those times where you're not necessarily planning to do an order, but you have to go to work because 60% of people that do DoorDash have a full-time job, right? So that's 60% of people at least. And then there's like another 10% that are stay-home dads, whatever. It's for those people that are going somewhere, and they're going somewhere, and they're trying to find maybe an extra way to make it like a slight extra bit of cash on their side, right? Without having to take out their normal time out the day to do it.
Okay.
Does this app just enhance productivity, or are you able to monetize it?
I believe I'll be able to monetize it. My current thought process is to because it is a service that I'm providing you by being able to tell you exactly how long it's going to take you using the estimation of the map. I would charge probably like a monthly fee, similar to how a lot of other subscription services work. And it'd probably be something low, like maybe like $5 to start, especially depending on how productive people are. But if you do one order with my app, you've already made back your money. So that's my thought process. There's 8 million users on DoorDash alone. So there is an audience base.
When you said probably, you haven't mapped out the economics yet, clearly, of the program?
You mean in terms of being able to charge the fee?
Yeah, do you have the pay structure and all of that sort of already in your mind, or that you can share?
Oh, in my mind, I would charge the $5 a month. That's where I wanted to start. But I wouldn't know how people react until I start testing it with the actual audience. And I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
We have time for one more question, if that. That's it.
When you start the app, would it be to a certain region, or like would you? Because you're an NJIT. Shout out to NJIT. I taught there. Would it be in that Essex County area? Would it be Newark? Would it be East Orange? Would it be go to New York? Like, where would you start it?
It'll be most beneficial in a very populated area. So I'd probably start within the New Jersey, New York area, simply because that's where I'm based currently. And then as I test out the app to make sure it's successful and is doing the right things, we can expand towards other parts of the country.
Okay. Thank you, guys. You guys clap it up for these contestants, please, and thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we are going to take 3 minutes to have the judges deliberate who they want their winner to be, because we have literally 7 minutes to get out of here. So 3 minutes for you guys to tally up, and we'll do 1 minute to give answers, and we'll get pictures and everything and be off stage by 2:40. All right? Can we get a little vibe music for a second? Let me finish doing what she has to do. All right. Testing. Okay. While they're deliberating, we have another minute and a half while they're getting that together. So let me ask you guys, how many of you guys are in here who are entrepreneurs right now? How many people in here are entrepreneurs currently? Okay, how many of you guys, when you were starting your entrepreneurship, you were very hesitant about it? Be honest. I know y'all all didn't just wake up and say, I can do this. Oh, you just knew? Oh, okay. All right, so I do want to share a short story while they're finished in a minute and a half. It won't take me long. So one thing with my son, a lot of people always ask me how and why. If you hear my voice, clap once. Oh, I got to treat you like kindergarten. If you hear my voice, clap twice. Okay. All right. Okay. So my son started at the age of 12. We started right in pandemic. And as they were saying, we had to pivot. You have to understand AI is coming. There's technologies, there's social media. As a gentleman, he started with tapes and DVDs, but he is evolving. And he said if he can't, he has his legacy getting there to evolve where he needs to be. And so one thing I always tell people, don't do this alone, like we always said. But a story I will say, my son, he was doing great. Everything was going good. We went to California. We took off my mom's driveway. We had cars going up and down the street, so on and so forth. But he had his first refund. Somebody asked for a refund. Now, as a 12-year-old, to hear that, he was crushed because he's like, what do you mean the cornbread crumbled? He sells cornbread in a bundt cake form, puts it in. It looks like a cupcake. You top it with cheese and sour cream. It's amazing. It's amazing. Next year, we did try to get him this year, but he was so swamped with school. And he's running for office. I'm not sure, but they got college and running for office is something in school. So I'm proud of my baby. But he won his first refund, and he cried. And you know, they say, men don't cry, men shouldn't cry, cut it out. And he was baffled. And one thing I tell him, taught him, and I continuously tell him every day is not gonna be a great day. Every day is not gonna be a money day. Every day you ain't gonna make what you thought you made. You always set goals. But I tell him, and I tell people he's my biggest inspiration because he kept going. It was 115-degree weather out there, and he kept going. It was rain, snow, sleet, and shine. So anything y'all don't understand or don't remember, keep going because like I asked y'all, was there days you didn't understand it, you didn't know what to do? Keep going because your end and your why is always bigger than what you won't want to do. Thank you. All right. Oussmane, hold the mic. Let me get who the winner is.
Can we first give a round of applause to all of those young people who came up here today? I think it takes a lot of courage to stand in front of a group of people. I think it takes a lot of courage to stand in front of people and deliver. I think you all did a great job at doing that. So no matter what happens today, I would encourage you all to stay focused, stay committed. Part of being an entrepreneur is accepting the no's and using that as the fuel to get to your yes. So regardless of what the decision is today, stay the course. Stay the course, stay the course. But we have a winner.
Okay, since you're doing that, can I get the 15-second closing remarks of who you are, something encouraging, and how to get out of here? So 15 seconds, tell us who you are, give them something encouraging, and how they can keep up with you.
Stay the course. I think I gave mine already, so it would be I'm Prophet once again, but stay the course, stay focused, stay committed, think with the end in mind first, have a plan, learn, surround yourself with people who can help elevate you, elevate your thoughts, and don't be afraid to fail, and also pace yourself. You're living in a generation now where if you don't get it today, if you don't make the millions today, you think you're a failure. Pace yourself. And all of you are on the right track, and that's where it starts. So salute.
Thank you, thank you. Next, 15 seconds.
Brandon Scoopy Robinson. You can follow me on all socials, on Twitter and Instagram at ScoopB. Scoop like you're scooping ice cream, the letter B. Two things. Don't take no from someone who's not qualified to tell you yes. One, that's a whole sermon for another day. And
Clock it.
also in life, to kind of piggyback off what you said, don't go with the fast food meal in life. Go for the home cooked meal.
It's healthier.
Oh, that was great. I am Shay S. Wood on all social media. That's SHAY S. Wood. I am Shay Wood. I am a generational curse breaker. I am a community builder, and I love being me. I love being black, and I love being a woman.
Right on.
Excellent.
Kevin Livingston, 100 Suits. You can follow us on Instagram at 100 Suits, 100 SUITS. I'm going to leave you with this. Innovation doesn't always require data. Just get started and never mind the chatter.
Listen, y'all did amazing. Y'all came short of like 4 seconds. I love it, I love it. All right, so we are now time to deliberate. Is everybody up here? Are we missing anybody? Oh, we're missing somebody. All right, can you get a drum roll, please? Everybody pat your leg. Let's get a drum roll, get a drum roll. All right, and the winner of the $2,000 scholarship is Jalen J. Yes, you want 30 seconds to say something, baby. We have 1 minute left.
I just want to say thank you. And it's all glory to God. All glory to God, okay? All glory. I wasn't even expecting this type of win today, but God has something in store, y'all.
That's right.
So amen. And, everybody up here won with me too. Not just, we all win. We all winners right here. We all in success. So thank y'all, and most importantly, thank God. Thank you, God, and thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
She's so much of an entrepreneur, we have to pull out the next room because she was shooting over there to come back into this room to win. So give her an extra round of applause. And that's about it before they kick us out of here. We got a next panel coming up.
All right, next panel is Know Your Right workshop. Don't go too far. You guys let the people come off stage. Don't bum rush them. Give them a second to breathe. Everybody, don't bum rush. Give them a second. Panelists, don't move, and contestants, don't move. We're gonna get you guys a photo.
Yes.
We literally have 1 minute till.
Panelists and contestants, let's
come
do
on
a
stage.
picture. And our Know Your Rights leaders are coming with their training that they will be doing for today. Everybody scoot down. Scoot down. You can play some house music, please.
Let's get the contestants to sit down. Get the contestants to sit down.
Everyone,
Scoot down one seat, baby. Look at the photographer.
Okay, that's enough.
all right, thank you, everybody.
All right, let's go.
Yes. All right, everybody, please take your seats. We have to begin our next workshop. Shh. Everybody, please take your seat so we can begin our Know Your Rights workshop. 20 minutes. Y'all, the mic. Shh. Everyone, if you want to talk, go outside in the hallway, close the doors. If you want to speak, please go outside in the hallway. If you want to speak, give a hand to our winner one more time and those that participated. Wasn't that such a good? And they are not walking out of here empty-handed, but they're walking out. Jalen is walking out with $2,000. And that's a beautiful thing. Thank you. And that's a beautiful thing. All right. Shh. Nan, I need y'all to listen. There's a lot of noise. We need to get ourselves back together. I don't want to have to do if you hear me clap once. Okay, so now I'm going to ask that our Know Your Rights panel would come forth for our workshop that they are going to do. And this panel, this conversation, actually, this workshop that you are going to see, you guys can come up to the dais, that you guys are going to see is very important. And I want you to understand why, especially with everything that is going on, it is imperative that we know what our rights are. And so, especially when you're talking about ICE, especially when you talk about police interactions, you want to make sure that you are interacting effectively and according to how your rights are. Am I right? Okay, so today we will hear from these group of leaders. They are no stranger. Mauricia is no stranger to NAN. She has come on several occasions with our NAN Youth Huddle with Victor Pate and the Second Chance Committee, and those that would like to hear from Victor Pate, he is across the hall, next door. But here we will hear from our leaders today, and they will explain who they are, where they're from, and will speak to us on knowing our rights for this panel. Let's give them all a hand and thank them for being with us. Come on, clap for them. And thank them for being here, for taking the time to speak with us. Thank you. Go ahead, Mauricia.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a full room. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere else, especially with all the traffic and festivities happening in our city. You are here with us. So I know they introduced us as the Know Your Rights workshop. I wanted to be very specific because there are a lot of agencies and organizations that are conducting Know Your Rights. We're specifically around stop and frisk. How many of you guys know about stop and frisk? All right, so a lot of us, I'm sure, the NAN has historically fought for ages to end stop and frisk. So our team, it's 4 of us here today. There's a few of us that's not here today from other boroughs, but we are the Office of the Community Liaison. We are a stop and frisk feedback team where we're here to collect feedback from the community as a result of a lawsuit that occurred where NYPD was found unconstitutionally stopping Black and brown communities. So before we get into it, I'm going to give an introduction for all of us so you know who you're speaking to when we go through the panel. My name is Mauricia. I am the Manhattan organizer for the Office of the Community Liaison. I'll pass it off to Tatiana.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Tatiana Hill. I'm the organizer for Brooklyn.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matilda, like the movie. I am the Staten Island organizer.
Hey, peace and blessings, everyone. My name is Jermaine Thompson. I'm the court-appointed community liaison.
So today, we're going to spend an hour with you guys to explain, for those who know, and just to give a little bit more history on what stop and frisk looked like before versus how it's supposed to look now, because it is legal now, but there's still policies and procedures that's supposed to be followed. We're going to talk more about the court ruling, impact. We'll also speak about the levels of encounters through the group, and at the end, you guys can close out with questions and answers. So once again, I'm the Manhattan organizer. I am Brooklyn bred, but I love having the pleasure of working in Manhattan and in Harlem. Stop and frisk is a policy where officers are able to use a practice to stop, question, and frisk due to probable cause. Probable cause is something that there's specific evidence to prove, not a gut feeling, but specific evidence to prove that there's a crime that is being committed or about to be committed. In the past, like I said before, the NAN has historically fought through advocacy, activism to end stop and frisk, because in the early 2000s, a judge had found through multiple lawsuits, starting with Floyd, Davis, and there's another one named Ligon, where there were a lot of community that were stopped unconstitutionally. So with that being said, they had to appoint a monitor to look over compliance to ensure that the people were being stopped within their rights. With that being said, the federal monitor looks more into data, and then we come in as the Office of Community Liaison to go towards communities in all 5 boroughs to retain actual anecdotal feedback to match what that data says. Jermaine here is our community liaison amongst 5 organizers, and he's the one that works with the all parties groups to ensure that we are hearing community and we're also bringing their concerns back to the courts and also educating them on their rights, as we've seen that there's a gap, especially with social media. We see a lot of videos, and the youth right now, they're not able to speak to their rights even if something is wrong, or let's just say the police is following their job. Sometimes there's a gray area where they may not know their rights. So that's where we come in. We work with different agencies, we work with schools, we work with elected officials to bring the awareness to help community understand that stop and frisk is legal, but there's a difference with how it was done before to now. And I'm going to kick it to Jermaine, where he's going to explain a little bit more what about the community engagement looks like with our team.
Thank you, Mauricia. So as Mauricia was stating to you all, these stop, question, and frisk was, I want to say, created to hold our people down. Let me put it like that, right? So when you think of stop, question, and frisk, and you think about what it does to Black and brown communities, it's a lot of harm and trauma into that process. So when we had the opportunity to come in and be the voice for community in this process, it was a no-brainer, right? So our office prides ourselves on not putting our own ideologies into this process, but uplifting community voices and let you tell your story on what you're experiencing with stop, question, and frisk, right? So you think about when, as Mauricio was stating about the court ruling that happened in 2013, at that time, NYPD stopped approximately 700,000 folks, Black and brown folks, in 1 year, right? The exact number was like 685,000 and 776, something like that. I'm no mathematician, but it was somewhere around there, right? So when that happened, they brought the federal judge into place. The federal monitor into place. How many here have heard of the federal monitor before Mauricio spoke about it today? 2 people, 3 people, and we got about 50 people in the room, right? 5, so that's the issue. Nobody knows the federal monitor exists, and the federal monitor been in this position for about 12 years now, right? So it got to a point where federal judges like, why is this going on so long? Why are these cases taking so long? And then they came to a conclusion that they needed to bring community voices in this space, which is unheard of. You don't hear about courts or judges wanting to hear from community so they could be able to do the reform process, right, and have them involved in the reform process. So me coming into this role, it was important for me to hire brilliant people, right? And you see these brilliant individuals on the stage with me. We introduce ourselves, but we also have our community coordinator here, Aaliyah. She's sitting in the front, along with a few other team members. So with that being said, community voices are important. Our voices are important, right? I look back at this sign behind me, and I see that it's at the bottom, it says, no justice, no peace, right? That's how we all should feel when it comes to these reform processes. If we don't get what we want, it shouldn't be peaceful. We shouldn't be afraid to lift our voices and speak out and talk to people about how we feel, our experiences. Our voices should not be siloed, right? So as we move on into this today, we're going to be speaking about a few things, but I'm like a call and response person, so I like to ask questions because I want people to talk back to me. So how many of you heard of DeBoer levels? DeBoer levels. It's foreign. That's foreign language, right? But that's what stop and frisk is based off of in New York State, right? When you go through every other state, you have Terry stops, right? Where they just stop and they say you have this reasonable articulable suspicion that somebody's doing something. But New York State has a pretext to that, right? New York State has these actual extra levels, which is called DeBoer levels, right? And there's 4 levels. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. DeBoer, D-E-B-O-U-R. So that was actually a court finding, and that's actually somebody's last name. It became these extra levels that you see, and it gives officers reason to approach you in the streets, right? And that's what we're going to get into today. So I'm going to pass it off to Matilda, and she's going to kind of talk about those DeBoer levels.
Hi. So I am going to start off with pretty much the lowest level of encounter, which is a level 1 encounter. It is known as the objective reasonable counter. So it is the lowest level because they're not going to ask you accusatory questions. Something could have been going on in your area. It's normal in our neighborhoods that these encounters are known for. They usually just ask you questions like where you're going, what's your name, basic questions like that. But you have rights. You have the right not to answer these questions, and you have the right not to stay in those moments. You're not being detained. They're just literally asking you questions. So that is a level 1 encounter. We have a section for Q&A, and you just hold that thought. I got you. So bringing you to now a level 2 encounter, where it gets a little confusing for people, but that's also where the tension starts to build up. In a level 2 encounter, it's founded suspicion. So here, the officer may have a crime is about to happen, or has already happened, or they just have an inkling that something is going to go on. So they're going to ask you more accusatory questions. So they're going to ask you questions directed and pointed at you, like where are you coming from, where are you headed, things of such. So in this encounter, they're also going to ask if they could search your person or search your belongings. Again, the key word in this encounter is ask. You still have rights in this encounter. So you have the right to say no. You have the right to not answer any of their questions. If you're not being detained, you can walk away. So just ask. It's important to ask at this level if you're being detained so that you can walk away. If you cannot at this moment, then you then know that you're at a level 3 encounter. And Tatiana is going to break down level 3 for you all.
Hi. So at a level 3, you've gone through where officers have some suspicion. And then through a level 1, they're observing you. They may interact with you. As Matilda talked about, in a level 2, they're gaining more information to confirm what their suspicions might be, confirm evidence and information. At a level 3, they've determined they have enough information to hold you. Everybody ever heard of the word detained? Like I'm being detained? Does anyone know, does that mean you're being arrested? Do you think that means you're being arrested? Correct. You're not being arrested, but you're not free to leave. So when you're being detained, you're being held before they can prove they have enough evidence to arrest you, or they can release you because they don't have enough evidence to hold you. So remember what Matilda said is really important. You do have the right to stay silent. That's a huge one. Everyone heard, like, I have the right to remain silent? That is a constitutional right that you have throughout any level of police encounters, especially important at a level 3 because you're not free to go. So at this level, they are going to be asking you more detailed questions. They might frisk you if they have evidence that there's a weapon on your body. So just to be very clear, we talked about stop, question, and frisk, that word frisk. A frisk and a search are 2 different things. A frisk is a pat down. Have you seen that in the movies, or maybe some of you experienced it, unfortunately, in your neighborhoods? Yes, it happened to you yesterday. I'm sorry to hear that. Please. Oh, here, okay. You can share with us after so we can take your feedback.
We would like to speak to you at the end.
So a frisk is a pat down. That means they're patting the outer parts of your coat, your body, your person, your bag. They're not allowed to go into your bag, into your pockets, or into your sleeves. Some of you may have seen these stops happen, or your youth in your neighborhood especially, that's who's targeted by this. The youth, especially ages 16 through 24, Black and Latino boys the most, but also girls as well. When you see this happening, they're looking for a weapon. If they feel evidence of a weapon during a level 3 frisk, they now have enough reason to search only that area where they felt what feels like a weapon is. Does that make sense? So they can frisk my whole body and pat me down, right? But if they feel something on my right pocket, they can only go into the right pocket and search. Got that? Now, once they go into that right pocket, they're going to empty out the pocket, obviously, to determine whatever is in there. If you have a legal license for a weapon or a gun, obviously, at that time, you would show it. If not, then you would be moved to a level 4. I also want to be clear that at a level 3, they should not be frisking you if there is not risk of a weapon, if there is not evidence or some kind of indication of a weapon. If this stop that we're talking about goes to court, they have to prove to a judge, and they have to clearly state how they thought a weapon was visible. What evidence do you have to say that there was a weapon on this person? So they're supposed to be able to detail, they see an L-shaped weapon that indicates a gun, they saw a large bulge, they saw the person moving as if they had a weapon, they were trying to hide it. Those are some of the things they do during their observations at levels 1 and 2. And just so you know, officers are always observing. That's part of their job, right? So sometimes we think of them harassing, stalking, or patrolling, but part of their job is to watch, observe, and see what evidence they come up with, which gives them enough reason to stop you and possibly hold you at a level 3. Everybody got that? So at a level 3, like I said, they're going to determine if they have enough information to move forward or if they have enough information to arrest you. At a level 1, 2, and 3, you have the right to remain silent. Levels 1, 2, and 3, you do not have to provide ID. You do have to identify yourself. A lot of people get confused around that. A lot of us grew up hearing, make sure you carry ID, it's against the law, right? That's not specifically true, but you do want to be able to say clearly your first and last name and where you live. You don't want to give a fake name, obviously, because someone else could have a warrant or information against them. But you need to be able to clearly state who you are. If you're not able to identify yourself, and you're at a level 3, they're probably going to be trying to look you up. And then if you're in a situation where you might receive a summons, which is a level 4, or an arrest, they would possibly say they're going to give you a ticket, right? A summons is a ticket. It's a legal ticket, so that means legally they need to see your ID to give you that ticket. So even though I just told you, you don't have to legally have ID, if you were doing something that would determine that you can receive a summons, like hopping the turnstile, spitting in the street, in the park after dark in New York City, using the bathroom in public, those are things that you can get a summons for. If you are able to get a summons and you don't have ID, that is an excuse for officers to take you in. You're not technically being arrested, but they're going to take you to the precinct to identify you. We see that happen with a lot of our youth because they don't always carry ID or they don't have the language to identify themselves. So that's a really important tidbit that you might want to share with folks around you so that you can make sure you remain safe. After a level 3, there's a 4, which I said is an arrest or a summons, and you would be free to go. Our office deals with levels 1, 2, 3. After level 4, you're talking about legal rights, right? You need a lawyer, you need counsel. You want to make sure you ask for that if you're being arrested or if you're in the precinct. But levels 1 through 3, our office takes your feedback on that. So we go around the community and we do workshops, which would be something like today, but in much more detail. And we ask people what their experiences are like. We want to hear your stories. Mauricia mentioned anecdotes, right? Anecdotes are your firsthand experiences and encounters. You telling your story from the first hand. We want to get your feedback directly. We're just here to give a voice to you. Our communities don't get heard a lot, right? A lot of us talk about police encounters and police violence, but who do we tell? Who do we trust to tell our stories for us? So our office is comprised of all of us who have a background in organizing. We all come from these communities that we organize in. Mauricia's from Brooklyn, I'm from Brooklyn, Matilda's from Staten Island, Jermaine is from Queens. These are our neighborhoods, these are our people. He's big Queens, sorry, he said big Queens. But honestly, we come from these neighborhoods that we care and fight for. So it's not just a job for us, it means a lot to us. And now I want to open up the floor for questions and answers. And I want to let you know as well, you can follow us on Instagram if you have it. You can search OCL. It will say Office of the Community Liaison to connect with us. We'll be here after as well, so you can connect with us. And we're here to do workshops for any organization you have. It could be your tenant association group. It could be a neighborhood group of children that you work with and coach. It could be a community center. It could be a program that you run or facilitate. Just let us know. We have someone in every borough. We have people